Hey everyone, welcome back to the Web Coding with Ankur. In today's video, we are diving into a super important concept in NextJs called sequential data fetching. When you are building dynamic app, especially one with nested or dependent data, fetching everything in one doesn't always work. That's where sequential fetching comes in handy. Like when you need to fetch a list of posts first and then fetch the author for each post using the user ID. So, we will break this down with a clear hand-on example and I will walk you through new how NextJS handle the under the hood using server component AHIC function. So, if you ever wonder how to structure your fetch call with when data depends on other data, this video is for you. Let's get started. So, let's understand what is sequential data fetching in NextJS. So, here, so in this, the data fetching patterns in component is that when you are fetching data inside your React component, it is important to understand the two main patterns of data fetching. First is sequential fetching. In sequential fetching, the data requests in your component tree are depend on each other. This means one request must finish before the next one start. While this pattern ensures proper data flow, it can significantly increase loading times, especially if multiple requests are involved. Then we have like sequential fetching, we have another fetching technique which is called parallel fetching. In this, we will and this approach will be explored in the next video. In today's video, we are just working on sequential fetching, how it could be implemented with the help of example. I just give a small a small introduction of what is parallel fetching in NextJS. It could be. So, parallel fetching is an approach allow multiple requests to be fired off at the same time, reducing wait time and booting performance. Choosing the right pattern can optimize your app speed and improve the user experience. So, it's essential to know when and how to use each. So, now in this video, we are already discussed that we are working on sequential fetching in action. So, let's break down an example of sequential data fetching by building a simple port component. In the component, first we fetch all the ports from an API. Each port contains a user ID field that refers to the author. Then for every post, we use the user ID to fetch the author data. This is called the sequential fetching because the second request fetching the author depends on the result of the first request fetching the post. Since we can't fetch the author until we have the user ID, we must wait for each port to load first, which can lead to longer load time. But this approach ensures that data is fetched in a controlled, step-by-step manner, useful when one request rely on other. So let's move on to the Visual Studio Code and start building a small example based on sequential fetching in action. So let's move on to the Visual Studio Code. As you can see that there we are reaching out to our examples, and today in this we are working on sequential data fetching in NextJS, how we can implement it. So first of all, we need to create a folder with the name post sequential post. Okay, so we go on app and create a folder with the name sequential post. Enter that. As we are enter that, we are creating a new page.tsx over here, and enter that. Now on page.tsx over there, we can create a new type of it. So how we need to create that so that we can display the post in post sequential manner. First of all, we need to build a type of post page over here. Build a type of it like for the post. We type could be a post, or we can build a post and what type of things which we require. From this we require user ID, which is of type string, which is of type in number. After that, we have ID as number. We have ID as number. Then we have title. In title we have string, and string could be ing string. After that we have body, which is of type string. Okay. Now this already we have built the type post for it. With type post, it could be an equal to. Okay. Now let's build a small function of it like export default function. So it is a async function because we have to make a API call to it. So we can get an export default function, and my function name could be a post space. And so what API which we are going to fetch is what for the post. Let me show you how. So let's move on to the browser. So we go to the JSON placeholder. We have the API. We have already using the JSON placeholder fake API. So when you scroll down to below, here you can find the number of post API call. like JSON placeholder typecode.com plus post. So this API call will be used in fetching the post. And here one more thing, that you find that top 10 posts will be belong to same user ID, and after 10, 11 could be of different user ID. So we are giving a condition based on that, so that we can get so that we cannot get duplicate username on the on displaying a post. So we can give a condition on the basis of that, so that we can get different different author name. Okay, for that I give a condition in the function. So let's copy this particular UI, and now let create a response on it. We can give a constant response inside this. We can give an await function, because we are making, because it is a async function. Instead, after that we can give a fetch call to it and paste an API call to it. After that we can create constant post, which is of type post, which is a type post, which is an array. Okay, in it we have an await response.json complete. Okay, so in that we have to filter, so that after we have to filter, because 10 posts belong to same author, so we don't want that particular author to be duplicate posts. So we give a condition, so that filter we can get different author on the basis of the post. Okay, for which I have typed filtered post. I have written filtered post is equal to post dot filter host dot filter post. We can part that 10 post dot id module 10 could be equal to 1. Okay, we can give a condition to 1. Okay, so that we can get a different offer on that. Now we can give a return statement, that how the post could be displayed on the UI side. So let's build that. So we can give a div to it, as we are using the tailwind CSS. So we can type adding a 4 max width 4 XL. It could be 7 XL. 7 XL. And so it could be in center. Then after that we have another div for it. We have the h1 tag actually. We can give class name, and we will give text 3XL, font extra bold, margin bottom of 8. Then we will write block post title actual there. Then we have another div for it. Inside this particular div, we can filter our post. So we can type filter post dot map, which is of type post. Then that we can give a arrow function. So here under this we have a div, and again div, so that we can display that data to, we can display all the posts in a div. So inside this we have of div, we can give a key is equal to post.id, forms.id. Then we have a tailwind says of class name as bg white, as bg white. You can take a bg black, shadow md rounded lg of fix. Okay, then we have s2 tag. Inside h2 tag we can write post title. Okay, so post dot title. Inside this we can add the tailwind CSS to it. Class name text 2XL, font bold, margin bottom of 3, text to 800, leading white, leading right. Then after that we have after h2 tag we have another p tag showing the body, showing the post dot body. Then let's add tailwind chaser to it. Class name to be text gray, fit fender, then we MB of 4, then we have leading, relaxed. Now after that we have another tag of P, which is showing author name to be fetched. Okay. Now let's add me another tailwind chaser on the auto div. So here, so let me add this div a class tailwind chaser, because in this now we want to show our post in a grid format. So I want to add the tailwind chaser over a grid calls 1. Medium layout, it could be a grid calls 2, and gap of 8. Okay. Now we have just completed of deploying the post, and let's start our server over here. So let me start my server npm run there. Close check. Wait for the server to start. Then we can visit the sequential post page.tsx on the browser. Now let's visit the sequential post URL. Post and press intro in. So it would be, so we need to keep the text as white. Give me a second. So I can make that text to white. It could be text to white. Text to white. Then it also, we need to keep the text as white, because we have taken the background as black. Text green. Text white. We don't want to take it as gray. Now save it again. Go to the browser. Here you can see the number of posts are overchanging over here to here. One more thing, that author name also need to be keep in white. So I also need to keep class name of text white. Save it and go to the browser. You can see that all the lists are coming from here. Here, if you go to the API, here you can see the strength odd facey. So here, this is the all post title, post body, and author need to be fetched, because we are getting the user ID. So after that, we need to create a author file through which we can make an API call, so that we can get the author name to it. So let's do it. Go to the browser. Go to the directory code. Now, as you can see here, we need to create a new file for the author. So how? So let's create that. So now we have the author. So let's create a new file with the name author.tsx. So now we already get the number of posts and the post ID. Yeah. So if you type here that author name to be post, so here you can find the post.id. So you can save it and go to the browser. So you will see the ID 1, 11, 21, 31. Because it will come up after that, because already passing a condition of 10, because one to can have the same author. So I just pass a condition of after dividing after 10 posts, it will be fetching the post of next post will be by neglecting the other 9. Okay, so that we can get the separate so that we cannot get the duplicate author name. So let's now on the basis of this ID we can fetch the author name. So let's go to the Visual Studio Code. For the author, we can create a author.tsx file over here. Then we can create a type of a user. So type user. It is an object type. We have an ID of number. Then we can create a string of name. Then we have username, which is of type string. Then we have email of string type. Okay, now we have already created the type view. Let's create a function property. Let's default async function. Like we can create export async function author which accept a parameter as a user ID which is of type number. So user ID of type number. Okay, so we can open this. Enter this we can create a response. For that we can make an API call. So we can fetch and we can fetch the, we can give a async, already have async function, so we have to wait the fetch and then we have to fetch the user. So for this we have to make a API call to the JSON placeholder. Just copy this URL and paste it over here in double quotes, and we need to change this particular API endpoint users, and then we have the user ID. So user ID. So we need to keep the backticks in the literal format. So we can type that of ID. Can get of ID. ID. Okay. Now we can get the username over here. After that we can type take a variable user which is of type user is equal to, we can have a await response.json, save it. Okay, then we have to return a new, we have to return the name of the we have a div in which we have to return the name. So we can give a class name of using tailwind. We can give text sm, not text sm, text grade of 500, text grade 500. Then we can write a return by, can give empty code to it. Then we have a span tag over there. Then inside that we have a username. In a span tag, inside the span we have the user dot name, because we already want to fact, because user is a type is a first switch of user dot name. Okay, now we can add the tailwind as a class name. Then let add tailwind as a fairly bold, text grade 700, hover, text grade 900, transition colors. Okay, now this is the async function which we have created. Now we export. Now we call the author over here. So we can remove this particular post ID from here, this p tag over here. We can remove this and put author and pass, and we can make a child close to it and pass a user ID to it. So which is called of user ID, which is of post.id. Now let's save it and let's move on to the browser to see the author name of in each of this. So now here you can see the list of blog posts and the writer name with the Lenin graph. Okay, so however I need to change the text also. So I don't want to take it as gray. I want to here the text white. Now go to the browser or reload this. Now you can see the writer name over here. One more thing, just that we first of all we need to wait for the post to load. After that we need to make an API call to the author to get the author name. Now let me give us some time limit to it. So for this I need to add an touchpoint to it fallback by following the loader thing. So go to the browser, go to the Visual Studio Code. So inside the page.tsx I can give a suspense over here. I can type suspense, close it, and wrap this particular author to enter the enter that. I can give a fallback to it, fallback which is showing the loading author. I can give a div to it. In that div we have the loading author, loading author text. Okay, loading author text over here. Then we can give a div class name to it. Then we have the tailwind CSS class text sm, text white. Okay, now save it. And one more thing, I need to give a time delay over here. I will already give a 1 second of time delay so that we can feed the suspense fallback loading. loading author on that. So let's move on to the browser. And when you reload this, you can think that loading author will be displayed to him. Reload this. So here you can see the loading author text over here. After all the text related to that author name will be displayed over here. So this is how the sequential fetching works in Next.js. The first thing that it will wait for all the posts to be loaded. After that, it can make it will call to the author, because it requires the user.id to fetch that particular specified author name to it. So this is how the sequential data fetching works in Next.js app. And that was app. Today we have learned how sequential data fetching works in Next.js, especially when one piece of data depends on another, like fetching posts first and then fetching their author using user ID. By using async await and leveraging server component, we can keep our code clean, efficient, and easy to manage, all while improving user experience. If this helps you understand data fetching better, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your question or thought in the comment below. I love hearing from you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep coding, keep growing. Web coding with Ankur, signing off. Thank you.